Hey everyone, today I'm studying Psalm number 63, and this is the book that I'm using, and just a couple of really quick lessons. So, first, the overview of what the entire chapter is about. Once again, King David is hiding from his father in law, King Saul, who wants to kill him and usurp his power because he thought that his son should be his successor and not David, who was anointed by the people. So, hiding from Saul and yearning to approach the place of the holy ark, like one thirsting for water, David composed this prayer about himself and against his enemy. So, we had this concept before that envy is not allowed, right? Jealousy is considered a negative trait. However, spiritual envy is the only exception to the rule, that we should hunger and thirst for God, for holiness, for sanctity, etc., or for gaining wisdom or improving our relationship with God. Things like that are things that we should literally hunger and thirst for. All right, in verse 3, the English translation is, "So do I thirst to see you in the sanctuary, to behold your might and glory." So, what this is pertaining to is that while fleeing from Saul in the desert, David longs for the company and teaching of the sages and righteous men who gather in the sanctuary, either in Kiryat Yearim, where the ark was housed, or in the city of Gibeon, which contained the tabernacle. So this was news to me because I thought that the ark and the tabernacle traveled together. However, at this time, the first temple in Jerusalem was not yet built. It was built by David's son, King Solomon. So perhaps this is something similar to the reason why the president and the vice president don't travel on the same airplane together, is so that if, God forbid, there's an accident, they don't both die, God forbid. So perhaps the reason why the ark, which is what housed the Ten Commandments, the two tablets that Moses brought down, as well as the Torah, and the tabernacle, which was the Mishkan, which was the traveling sanctuary that went with the Israelites for 40 years in the desert. And every time they encamped somewhere, they set it up. So it was like their mobile synagogue. So these two items at this time in history were kept in different places. Okay, so verse 4, we learn the following verse. "For your kindness is better than life. My lips shall praise you." So this verse expresses the value of closeness with God over the enjoyments or pleasures of this world. Those who embrace hardship see suffering as a lofty expression of godliness. They recognize that their affliction is, in reality, a kindness of God and is better than life. So exalted is the source of suffering that it cannot manifest itself in our physical reality as goodness. For those who perceive suffering in this way, the challenges they encounter lead them to even greater closeness with God. So, as they say, it's all good, it's all God. It's because even things such as our challenges, difficulties, and obstacles in life, whether they be health, financial, relationship, or any other matter, it's brought to us by God for some reason, and we should try to find the reason, whatever lesson there is there, whatever it is that we need, our soul needs for its own purposes, for refinement, for maybe past life corrections, etc. And so we should realize that everything comes from God, the good and the bad, and that the things that seem bad are actually for our good, for our benefit. Verse 5 says, "Thus I will bless you all my life. In your name I will raise my hands." So this is a prayer hack. Whenever you pray for something with your arms raised, it is supposed to make that thing happen. So we had an example of this with Moses. When he lifted up his arms, the Israelites were fleeing the Egyptians, and as long as he lifted up his hands, the sea stayed split for the Israelites to cross, and then when he put his hands down, the sea collapsed on the Egyptians. So people had to actually like hold up Moses's hands. So it says, with your assistance, I will raise my hands in battle and triumph over my enemies. All right, and the last concept from chapter 64 that I want to share comes from verse 7, and there are 12 verses in this psalm. So the last verse that I'm sharing is, indeed, I remember you upon my bed. During the watches of the night, I meditate upon you. So it's talking about forever remembering. Our ability to remember stems from the essence of our soul, the unchanging core of our being. So the soul is the aspect of the divine. When we recall something forgotten, we ascend above the dimension of time. Serving God with remembrance means that we are consistent in our behavior. Our love and fear of God is immune to the fluctuation of time and mood. So it's interesting, in Hebrew, the word yirah means fear, and it also means awe. So we should both serve God out of awe, like, love, and just we're amazed by his wonders, but also out of fear, just like one fears their parents. Not a fear of punishment necessarily, but wanting to please God, just like we want to please our parents and make them proud. Thus, when I remember you, when my devotion is unswerving, it persists upon my bed. Even in times when I seem to sleep and my higher faculties of intellect fail me, I still remain committed to you. So this is a nice psalm with lots of lessons. Raising our hands in prayer, expressing and looking for our closeness to God, even in difficult situations and times, and remembering God day and night. So I hope you found something valuable out of today's psalm, and I look forward to learning more psalms together. Thanks. Bye-bye.